Says that Joe Mazzulla is learning on the fly, and hopefully he has learned enough to help his basketball team get through this series with the Heat. Game 1 tonight. We talked about this early in the show. I mean, at this point, there's nothing you can do. Joe Mazzulla is your head coach, but it is a tad bit alarming that he is learning on the fly. But that's okay.
And I get what Wiggy was saying in the beginning of the show, that Joe, is he the guy? Is he not the guy? The fact is, he is the guy right now. I don't want them thinking about next season or down the road. They need to be thinking about winning a championship this season.
Right.
And if you want any job security, that's what you have to do. So if you look around the league right now, you have legendary coaches who have done a lot, who have won NBA Coach of the Year, who have had the winningest teams, and they're losing their jobs. So if you're Joe Mazzulla, you got to focus on the here and now and not worry about what could come next season. You need to make sure that this team that you have wins a championship.
Yeah, but like I said, I think the biggest thing when they say trying to learn from each other, I believe it's their personalities, how the offense runs, and I.
But these guys have been with each other for a bit.
Right, but I don't blame Mazzulla as much as I do the players when it comes to them figuring out. Like, do you think these guys know what their role is?
They should.
But the question isn't whether they should. Do you think they know and accept it?
If the awful occurs tonight, and they come out flat.
Oh, don't even say
like they
right,
like they do in early games in playoff series.
Yep.
Who are you going to put that on?
I'll look exactly at Tatum and how they come out, right? Because if Tatum comes out in the way of give me the ball, I'm taking control, then I think they'll be fine. But if Tatum comes out and he's allowing others to try to get going, then I know there might be some issues. And that's what I'm thinking. I don't believe this team knows, and I don't blame Mazzulla so much, but I don't think they, as a group of guys, know, like, okay, what's our offensive identity? Here's where I am and I always talk about it, on the chain of command, and I'm willing to accept that. So I think that Mazzulla's probably fighting a battle that it's very difficult for him to fight.
Well, do you agree with Scheim's lead? I mean, I clearly won the lead muffin this morning, but runner-up goes to Scheim.
Well deserved.
Scheim says this is a must-win tonight in Game 1.
Well, yeah, to give them the...
Don't tell Game Dog.
To give them that, like, confidence, and... Because the biggest problem with this team, I know a lot of people look at it, it's obviously on the court, but it's more about them and their personalities, and it's the chemistry. And so if they're not playing with their chemistry and understanding how things go, then that's when they run into problems. But to me, that's created more by Brad and ownership on understanding to get these guys to buy into what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I guess when it comes to learning on the fly, hopefully he's at the point where he learned that he can use a timeout.
Right, that I understand.
He learned that it's okay to start Al Horford and flex Time Lord on the basketball court at the same time.
He's been pretty good to his credit. Hasn't been flex Time Lord in the postseason so far.
So there's really, I mean, what else is there left? Hopefully, what else is there left to
learning how to deal.
I
think it's more about learning how to deal with their personalities and ego.
Marcus Smart.
And figuring out, how do I get guys to buy into whatever role that they need to buy in to help us as a team. That's the biggest issue.
That's fine for Joe Mazzulla, but if we're talking about the players on the court, these are the same guys that have been together not just this season, but last season too. Yeah, they've had a few additions, but when you talk about the core of this team, they should know each other's personalities. They should know how to play with each other.
You would think,
point.
But they've been together for 4 years, and guess what? Every year there's issues.
Yeah, I understand.
So clearly they know each other.
But then if you lose in the finals last season, and then you're on Sports Illustrated this season and all talking about how, you didn't sleep all off season because you were thinking about losing that game, then you can't come into this season and this postseason and do the same thing.
No, but if they lose this series, what's going to be the number one reason why? Is there lack of chemistry and understanding how their offense works?
No, they are they are clearly the more talented team.
Right.
the risk is that they are outcoached.
Right.
Because
That'd be the number one reason.
Don't you agree, Curtis?
Yeah.
If they lose, it's gonna be Spoelstra over Mazzulla.
Fact.
In what way?
Much better basketball coach
No,
at this point. I
if
mean,
they-
who knows? You don't know what Joe Mazzulla is going to be, but it's clearly a much better coach.
He is a better coach, but if they lose, it becomes the reason is everybody's playing me ball. If they lose, that's the reason why. And the reason why they play me ball is because of the chemistry that for 4 years they can just not figure out where everybody falls. Everybody wants a bigger role. Everybody wants to be more, wants more of the pie. If that's the reason why they lose, it's not going to be X's and O's and timeouts here. No, it's going to be the offense, and I'm talking strictly on an offensive side, that this offense is my turn basketball.
781 texter on the Subaru of New England text line says Scheim is right. It's a must-win because Miami is undefeated at home.
Yeah, they don't lose it. They haven't lost at home in the playoffs. Like, this team is really, really good at home, as Curtis pointed out. It might be the best home court advantage in basketball. Like, the Celtics need to win tonight. They need to set the tone early. They need to get off at a good start and really start putting this series behind them so that they can move towards the NBA Finals. Like, they need to just put the Heat away, period.
Greg, are you going to have a tough time now that you live in Echelon rooting against the Butler?
Curtis, please. Here is Scott from Coventry, Rhode Island. Hello, Scott.
Good morning, folks. How are we?
What's going on?
Not much. I just had a personal Wiggy encounter I wanted to share with you 4 years ago on an AAU team.
Oh.
My son played for the Adidas Players, and Wiggy was actually coaching the game before me. And one of the parents was complaining that his son wasn't getting playing time. And I will tell you this, that man saw the fear of God in about 30 seconds. I've never seen a grown man run from the court quicker.
Oh, really?
I did coach AAU.
Wiggy knows how to manage the parents.
Yeah, I did coach AAU.
You did?
Yep, I helped out with AAU.
You remember this particular incident?
I don't remember this one, but there's probably, like, my thing is, if your kid's not playing, that's because there's a kid on the team better. Mm-hmm. And if your kid wants to play, here's what he has to do to play. And these are all the things that he has to work on. That's the role. If they're 5 and 6 years old, it's completely different. But when you talk about AAU, you're talking about high school sports where they're more competitive. And we've seen some of these umpires or referees getting into it with parents. Parents, the problem is they don't go to practice. Take your ass to practice sometime. You say your kid wants to run the football. Bring your ass to practice. And when I hand him the football and then he goes, "Ooh, I don't want none of that smoke," that's why he ain't getting the football.
So you're going to be much like Joe Mazzulla when it comes to Brockton because you're going to be learning on the fly.
No, I mean, I'm always learning. But I think
similar situation. Very similar for coach.
Here's the situation. We're gonna know how things operate. There will be a kind of food chain on to say of like how guys' roles are gonna be. The problem is, do you think there's anybody on this team other than, let's call it, Al Horford and Rob Williams that know exactly what their role is?
No.
I would hope they
Blake
do.
Griffin knows to sit on the bench.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking about the 7 guys that constantly play.
How at this point, this is why it's a little frustrating, because Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown went all the way to the NBA Finals last season.
Yep.
To suggest that you're now suddenly figuring things out, like how did you not figure that out last season?
Well, because I think it was a different person leading the ship. You watched last night's game with the Denver Nuggets and the Lakers. You understand what everybody's guy role is. Like, you know, the offense runs through the Joker and Jamal Murray. Then you have a local kid, Bruce Brown, big up to him. I think he's from Dorchester, comes in, knows his role, gives him some energy, scores some points, understands his role. Michael Porter Jr., these guys know. Even on the Lakers side, you know it runs through Anthony Davis and LeBron. When you and everybody else knows their role, whether it's Lonnie Walker, whether it's
Austin Reeves,
whether it's Schroeder. When you look at the Celtics, other than Time Lord and Al Horford, do the rest of the guys know what their role is?
They know their role, but I don't think they buy into it. as much.
Well, then there
know
you go.
But they know it because Marcus Smart always talks about how the Jays are the stars on the team. Jaylen Brown talks about how he has to take a backseat to Jason. He has to make sacrifices playing on the same team as Jason.
But do they play like that?
No, that's the issue.
That's my point.
But
So
they know their role.
But no. See, they're just telling the public
Lip service.
That's lip service. But behind closed doors, they don't know their role is. It's my, and Scal talks about it. We've talked about this with this team for so long. It's my turn basketball. And if that's how the first 7 to 8 minutes of the game goes, then I know it should be Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. That's it.
Text for you, Shime. Shime says a lot of stupid things, but this ranks right up at the top. If the Celtics go out and win tonight and then lose game 2, it's okay. The only must-win game is an elimination
Thanks
game.
for the text, Game Dog. Look, here's the deal. An elimination game is not a must-win. That is a literally win-or-go-home game. A must-win is a game that you need to win. That's what it is. It's not an elimination game. Those are different. All right. When I say must win, I'm talking about for this team to have success going forward in this series. I feel like tonight they need to win to set the tone. Does it mean if they don't win that everything's lost? No. It's a 7-game series. I'm aware of that. However, I view tonight as a must win. They need to get the first win. Period.
This is Tim from Hanover. Hello, Tim.
Guys, Wiggy was just hitting it on all cylinders a minute ago, because I'll tell you what, these guys have to gel. They got to gel. They got to work their big guys. Start using what they have on. They got so much talent on this team. And then once they get that stuff going, then they can start taking the shots. But don't throw up the stupid shots and don't throw the ball away, because they can't do that. I'll tell you, against Denver, L.A., they're going to lose straight out, because these guys put up so many points per game.
Yeah.
They won't keep up with them.
You got to play. You got to have, like, defensively. We all know what it is, right? That's just really want to and effort. When you look at most of these games, it's about what your offense is. And the problem with this Celtics team, until they really have a true identity of what their offense is, they play too much me ball, and that's when they get in trouble, because then you got your two best players, and Tatum and Brown should not go stretches where they're not touching the ball and getting shots up. Yeah. And that's a big problem, right? And I understand, Courtney, and that's why I don't always put it on Mazzulla, because you're right. They've been together for so long, they got to know, but you see too much of that.